Ceccoli Oracle, the Nicoletta Ceccoli Oracle today. Book and 32 cards, and it is a Lo Scarabeo deck. So 32 cards, kind of a smaller deck. There is a tarot, a Nicoletta Ceccoli tarot. Obviously, that's a full 78 cards. I do want that as well. I have the mini, but I wrote all over it, and I want the real deal. So I'll show you the book. The book looks like it would be, like it would have more in it, but it's actually just the same small paragraphs in many different languages, which is good because then if you speak any of the languages, you have something to go on. That said, with this deck, I don't totally go off of the guidebook. For me, this deck is like super triggering. You can use this deck for, you can use it however you want it. You can use it for light work. You can use it for, like me, for trigger work, for shadow work, for repressed memories, for childhood trauma. But if you're going to go that route, don't do it while you're already a hot mess. You got to be in the right state of mind to use these cards to dive that deep. So this is the front, the same image that's on the box, and then the back is number 6. And let's go through the cards, and then I will shuffle, and we'll do like two or three cards out of the deck and just see what it has to say about them. They're already out of order. I've used them a good amount of times, maybe, under 10 times, but I've been starting to get familiar with them. So the Humpty Dumpty, this is probably after his fall, and then he's cracked in half and his yolk is coming out, but you can see she's crying and the flowers are also crying. And then there's some birds checking out the scene. This one, number 6, that's on the book. I mean, they're weird. I'll give them that. But I love the art. This one reminds me of, like, she's just minding her own business, and then somebody, like a peeping Tom or just some weirdo, is being nosy or being a creep. I love this one. I love this one. This one is so triggering, but I love it. And sometimes I see this thing coming out at her, but sometimes I see her being like lured in. And this one reminds me of like gingerbread Christmassy time. I love this card. She's like the queen in the chess, and there's, people fighting around her. And then this, I love this insect version of, or fairy, I'm not sure. This one, you guys, I'm trigger warning, this one's weird, so skip ahead a few seconds, but kind of gives me Empress vibes in a way. Okay. I love the critters that they get to ride in this. Like, this one's almost a giraffe, like a solid white giraffe. And she seems like she's on the run. So pretty. They're all over her. They're in her hair. To me, this is kind of like my sensory issues, buffering the noise and everything I'm taking in with something more beautiful than all the racket. Another weird one. This is the one that is on the cover. And she has like this dessert in her hand, and she has spilled on herself, and she's kind of trying to clean it up. She is spilling the apples, or what are candies, I'm not sure. And it's weird because I haven't seen one of these kind of suckers in a billion years. They used to have these matte, They were sweet, but were they kind of sour? They were like the Smarties almost, like that kind of textured suckers. Another one where she's riding a critter, a bee, and there's a dice and a ball in the air. And another kind of sad, or not sure. Sometimes I go different ways with this one, but essentially she won the battle. Yeah, she took one of his eyes, and then see the popsicle in the back with his surprised face. Oh, I love this one. I love this one. I have a sea creature thing. I love sea creatures, and she is a jellyfish, or as my toddler would say, she's a fish. Kind of like a nurse one, maybe like an older sister energy. He's crying, and she has to figure it out. Story time. Snail. One of these like floating fixtures, and then it's almost Rapunzel-y. She's at the top there, and then there's a knight at the bottom, and there's all kinds of battles he's going to have to fight to get up to the top. And even there's some water dripping out of one of those entryways. Like an obstacle course. This one, to me, I feel like she's up at the top of a play where all the lighting is, and she's just watching. This one always reminds me of bullying. Like they're just sitting there taking chunks of this gingerbread man, and he's crying, and they're just eating. They're getting their fill. She's riding a pink-eyed bunny, and pink eyes have always, like the pink-eyed bunnies have always kind of scared the crap out of me, to be honest. This one's weird. Okay, you need to fast forward for 1 second. It's a weird one. Haven't quite figured this out one, and I haven't drawn this one yet to look at what it says in the book. So maybe we'll get this one today. Maybe we won't. I love this one. She reveals her tentacles and captures this dude for whatever reason. Kind of another one of those onlooking. She's up in her tower, poking her head out. This one reminds me of The Shining so much. Another one where she's up in a tower and there is a knight or something down there, but there's also lots of insects. And then I noticed this, I called it a largemouth bass. I have no idea what it is. Okay, 3 more. This one where this large figure, maybe authority figure that seems nice, but maybe it's not, comes in to check on her, and she is trying to hide behind the door. And then another one where she is riding an insect. All right, let me get these together. Let me get my life together here. And we will draw 2 or 3 of these cards and just see what the book has to say. Oh, these are the backs. I love them, and I love the backs of the tarot deck too. All right, number 5, the one that I associate with bullying, but let's see what the book says. 5. Gossip. Similar, right? Gossip may seem like harmless fun at first, just entertaining tidbits and juicy rumors, but it rarely stops there. Delicious becomes malicious before you know it, and reputations can be damaged beyond repair. If you are the gossiper, remember that it will always come back to bite you. Remember that a person who enjoys listening to gossip won't hesitate to pass it along. You can't expect your own confidences to be respected if you don't respect others. Light, choose your confidence wisely and promise to never betray them. And dark, if you are the target of gossip, step away from the situation and do not retaliate. All right, let's try another one. Got long nail problems here, guys. Sorry. Number 7, we got the Humpty Dumpty one. Let's see what the book says. For 7, we have lamentation. Lamentation. What has broken can't be mended. You may have been in similar situations before and were able to fix them, but it is different this time. Something fundamental at the core has been lost. It may be the end of a relationship or a project or a long-held hope. Whatever it is, you must deal with it in its passing, just as you would a death. This is not the time for practicalities. It's all about emotions now. Lament what is gone and let all your sorrow flow. Light, heart healing becomes after giving grief its due. Dark, ignore those who want to cheer you up too soon. They mean well, but they do not understand. So it kind of reminds me of like the Death or the Tower card, right? All right, one more. What do we got? Number 4. Oh, I love it. Number 4. Okay, number 4 is vigilance. Keep an eye on the situation, but don't do anything just yet. There will be a time for action later, and your energy will be needed then. If you have a better idea of what's going on, you can maintain an attitude of detached observation. This is not a time to give in to your emotions and be dragged down by people's drama. Remove yourself from petty squabbles, circular arguments, and people who are chasing their own tails. When you rise above the dust of turmoil, you'll see more clearly what the real issues are. Light, keep your observations to yourself for the time being. And dark, there's no immediate danger, but the situation is changeable. So that is the Ceccoli Oracle. Let me know if you own it, if you want it. There's also a book I saw of her art. It's like a large book, and I don't think it's the same art. It might be some of the same art. I'd love to flip through it. Well, if you're still there and you watched to the end, thank you, and I will see y'all real soon.